Okay, this is Alphael. Thank you. Today I will cover something that I find important based on some of the questions I received. So I decided to make this video to allow people to have a better understanding of my other videos. The main reason is because the things that I'm presenting require a certain level of understanding. These videos are pretty much some level of truth depending on where you stand. And the main reason I'm saying this because I would like you guys to have a much better vision of the things that I'm presenting. And to be able to see things the way we're presenting them is because we want you guys to be able to see them from a different perspective. And to be able to see them, we have to see where should you stand in order to see things the way we would like to present them. As a quick example I always use to explain this will be a child that at a very young age is learning that the sun rises every morning from the east and sets on the west. So at that stage of the life of the child, this is what seems to be the truth, and this is what the child is observing. Same thing as Santa Claus. At a very young age, you learn that during that period, Santa Claus will come in the middle of the night and will drop some gift through the Christmas tree. So that's what you learn. And when you grew up, you realize that, oh, it's actually your mom, your dad, your family members. They don't want to actually make sure they purchase this. They hide them from you. They pack all the gifts. They put them in a on a tree, and when you wake up in the morning you can see all this. So that's what you learn as you grow up. So what used to be your truth now will change because you're seeing things from a different perspective. Same thing with the sun. At a certain age when you go to school, now you learn that the sun actually doesn't move. It's the earth that rotates around the sun, and that's why you have the morning and the night. The same process, but now you see that from a different standpoint. The same way you will look at the earth you see is flat, and then at some point they let you know that the earth actually physically is not flat. So you have to learn to grow within your understanding. At a certain age you will learn certain things. As you evolve, as you learn and you acquire more understanding, you acquire more knowledge, you have to remain open in order for you to be able to grasp another level of the truth that you initially learn. And what is the process to be able to grasp even more level or a very high level of truth? The secret from what I learned all these years is to be able to question things that are not, pretty much I would say, things that do not look correct, things that do not look as they fit. You shall pursue the truth because the truth is what will set you free. So you have to be able to question everything that doesn't seem normal, everything that seems awkward. It's a lot of things that do not really match or fit, but people are losing the capacity of questioning things that they feel as they're not really being presented as they're supposed to, or things that do not make sense to them. So to move forward, I will go ahead and give you guys from what perspective. I will try to do my best every time I do a video to present you guys from a high level of understanding. Why a high level? Because we all victim of a certain degree of programming. What I call programming is because we see things based on the way we grew up, based on our environment. Why I'm saying this? We have attachment, connection to our environment, which do not allow us to see things from a planetary, let's say at a planet level, or at a galaxy level, or at the universal level. Why? Because the fact that you identify yourself with a specific location do not allow you to see things as they really are. If you look at things from Africa, you'll see things as an African living in Africa. If you look at things from someone who lives in South America, then you might see that they have a different perception of the same thing you've been looking at. And then if you go to Asia, depending where you stand, things can look different. Your perception of reality can be different. At the end of the day, who will have the much better perspective is the one who look at things from above, not from a specific location or a specific small area of the problem. And that's the reason I want you guys to look at things from above. That means from a very high level. And to be able to do that, you have to detach yourself from where you initially grew up and your environment. Why? Because the environment is where we receive our initial programming. Why I'm saying this, someone for instance who's born in a West, or let me put it very simple way, someone who born around, let's say, a Christian family will have Christian um, knowledge, behavior, everything they will do, it will be based on that specific knowledge they have. If someone born around another religion, their behavior, their understanding of the world, the way they perceive things, this is based on their environment as well. Now, at the end of the day, you cannot you will not be able to see things from a true perspective if you only look at them from your basic standpoint. So I will give you guys a little bit a bigger perspective of where we stand. We are all in this planet for a specific reason, and I want you guys to understand at the end of the day, everything has a purpose. And the meaning of life will have a much better understanding when you see things from that standpoint. This life, or we all here because we have a specific mission, we have a specific reason why we're here. And to give you guys a much better picture, all these from a much bigger perspective is seen as a game, and that's why I will title these videos Universal Trap Game. Why Universal Trap Game? Because in order for souls to experience certain things and to grow, souls has to experience different level of truth. And to be able to experience all this level of truth, you have to give them an environment, a platform. You have to give it's like when we call, the reason we call that a game is because you need a gaming platform. You need an environment when you'll be able to exercise, practice, train. That's how your soul get to learn all these lessons. So at a big or very high level, souls need a platform to be able to experience, to be able to learn, to be able to grow. And that tells you what is the purpose of the soul. The purpose of the soul is to be able to learn, experience, to grow in order to acquire a better understanding of life. And you cannot acquire better understanding of life unless you practice, unless you live it, unless you experience most of these things. You cannot just read about love in a book and understand the different level of love. It's like someone tells you, I'm hungry. If you never experience what hungry is, it's not just what you will read and understand what hungry mean. But if you ever experience that specific thing that the person is telling you, then you'll be able to understand why the person say I'm hungry. If you never experience that, even if you know the meaning of the word, but you will not have the true understanding of what the person is telling you. So that's the reason soul, as they express their personal identity, have to do or have to go through all these different experience. And in order to go through these different experience, a platform has been provided to us. And that's the reason we have all this planet, we have all these places we live. This is a way for us to be able to come and practice love, practice all these things that we have, and that's something we will have to go through. For instance, what we have when the universe has been let's say, build, we have what we call the law of the universe. And this is the law we're supposed to know in order for us to fully accommodate with this lifestyle and be able to fully experience the different stage of this life and all these things that we have to experience. That's the main reason we have this platform. That's the main reason we're here. That's the main reason we incarnated in this planet, is to be able to go all through, so we can go through all these stages of life experience. And in the nutshell, this experience bring us what is called polarity integration. Why polarity integration? Because the game is based on the experience of light and darkness. Why light and darkness? You need, in every video game, you will need the opposite team, a team that will challenge you, so you'll be able to face different stage of challenge based on your evolution, based on your understanding of the game, based on your application of the rules, based on the different skill you are learning. That's how you'll be able to evolve or be able to go through different stage of the game. So is our life. Our life is the same thing. Our life, we incarnate here so we can acquire specific skill, so we can learn. That's the only thing we go with. Our consciousness is based on all the experience we have, and that's what represent who we truly are. So we have to avoid looking at ourselves just as a body. A body is a vehicle that is being used for your soul to express itself in this specific environment. This environment we are in, this planet 3D, we need a physical body, and that's why we have to take care of that vehicle. It's part of our responsibility, but it's not really who we truly are. So when we incarnate here, when we come here, it's because we have a purpose, we have a meaning, and our life has a specific goal. And that's why we're here. We're here to learn. Now, based on this school that we're here to do, is actually an agenda for each one of us. So depending on that specific agenda, your life will be set based on that. The reason I'm saying this because is a reason why someone will born in Canada, in the United States, in Africa, in America, in Asia, is a specific reason, because it's based on their agenda. It's based on what they have to accomplish. It's based on the people that will surround them. It's based on the type of soul you have. It's based on your affinity, and it's a lot of details. It's the same thing for those who are Christian. You'll see, for instance, God is telling one of the prophet that I know you before you were in the womb of your mother. I chose you for you to be prophet of the nation. So that tells you that before a child is born is already a specific agenda for that child. The Bible even go further, that establish you prophet of the nation before you even born. So we can see that something has been planned for that child before they even come here. These apply for everyone, and that's the reason you have to find your personal identity. Now, another thing I would like you guys to understand about this game: in every game you have rules, and one of the challenge of this specific game here in this planet is that the rules are mixed. You have the correct information and you have the wrong information, but how do you navigate through everything you're being bombarded on a daily basis? Is by attaching yourself to the truth. Unless you like the truth, then you'll be able to identify which one of these rules are real, which one is not, which one you can apply to become successful. But all the knowledge has been presented to you, but you have to be honest to yourself. You have to be attached to the truth to understand them, to learn them, and to be able to absorb them. That's the platform we have. Therefore, even if you go back to the book of Genesis, you understand why you have the tree of good and evil. This war or this game or this life is based on how you navigate through the two of them. And it's necessary for us to understand the rules of the game. You have to understand how to use this polarity. The negative force, the positive force. These two forces are the one that maintain the law of balance. It's like you have dark and light. You have the day and you have the night. Both of them has to be utilized perfectly in good balance in order to have a better result. It's like you need the night so the body can rest, the body can recharge itself. And you have to sleep so the body can go back and recharge. And therefore you have the day so you can accomplish all the tasks where you active, you build, you socialize, you go through your regular routine, because on with the daylight you have things you want to accomplish. So each one has its role. Certain things might be negative, certain things might be positive, but at the end of the day we have to transcend, mean we have to go above positive and negative, and that's how you start to understand the truth. If you only look at everything as positive and negative, and you just look at yourself as being only part of the equation, sometimes you will miss the point, because the reality is that just presenting everything in a positive manner will not accomplish everything we want to accomplish. I remember one of the wise people we have in this era said, the person who want peace have to prepare for war. That means in order to have peace, you have to constantly be ready to fight. So we seeing the rules here are a little bit different. We have to be able to understand how to use positive force, how to use negative force, how to use our energy in a positive manner. And that's why we also will see the law of the universe that have the law of balance. We have to understand that when you project negative energy out, you receive negative energy back. So we have to be responsible in everything we're diffusing. We have to understand how vibration works. So in the nutshell, I want you guys to understand how the game is being played. We can probably go a little bit deeper in another video and explain exactly, because I would like people to understand how polarity works. What are the rules? And a very simple way you can look at this is to look at physics. The law of physics applied to spirituality. Most of the law of physics are actually spiritual laws. Mathematics, same thing. They actually spiritual laws. If you look at positive and negative, you usually have positive times negative, you have negative. Positive times positive, you have positive. Negative times negative, you have positive. All these are spiritual law. Is, for instance, if you have a negative force, sometimes you have to use a specific type of energy to be able to evacuate that negative energy as well. So that tells you is a way you have to deal with every type of situation you encounter. Know how to use the polarity in everything. That's how you can transcend. That's how you can be above the things that you see. Another part is to look at life from above as well. Look at life. I usually said if you look at things from God perspective, it will make more sense. If you look at them as a human perspective, it wouldn't make any sense. Why? Because you look at things from a higher understanding level. The easy way I can explain this is because sometimes we only look at things as we perceive them, as we see, as based on where we stand, based on understanding, but we don't see the future. We don't see 5 years from now. We don't do projection. We don't do a deep analysis. When you start to think as nation, powerful nation thinks, powerful people think, the way they are thinking, then you'll be able to see things from a different perspective as well. So that's some of the things that I want to cover as far as polarity integration and how the game is being played. Of course, it's more details and more that I can cover, but I will stop at that level for now. And as far as the 12 basic, because they can be extend, you can extend them to even more. Some people talk about 48. Some people even can reduce them to 7. But usually we kind of summarize them at 12 basic universal laws. And among these 12, I want to cover them right quick. The first one will be the law of oneness. The law of oneness explains that every person, every situation, everything that we do is connected. So we pretty much, this is like a huge network. That means everything you do will affect another person, and what another person does will affect you. At some level, we are all connected. And that's why the best way to understand this is usually to look at the type of energy that you diffuse. If you diffuse a specific type of energy, you have to be conscious of the fact that it will affect another person. So at a very high level, we are all connected. We are all part of the big one. This is something that we have to be aware of. The second one is the law of energy. I know I've been speaking about energy a lot, but we have to understand that energy, the law of energy is to understand that a lot of things that we do generate energy. Energy is made out of, let me put it this way. Everything is made out of energy. And at a very high level of understanding, energy can be transmuted. Energy can be manifested. Energy is pretty much within everything we do. This can, of course, being broke down a little bit more, but the law of energy is also known as the law of vibration. It means that energy come in countless frequency level. Energy and vibration are being sent out into the universe constantly. So these laws are always in motion. The third one is the law of action. According to the law of action, you need to take action, step towards what you want in order for that to manifest. So the law of action means pretty much that you have to go through the motion, meaning that you always have to be able to connect your thought to your actions. That's how you're able to manifest the result. The law of action means that you cannot just maintain everything stable without moving, without taking any action. Action is the manifestation of your thought. If you're thirsty, that's your thought. Now, in order to drink that water, when you send that signal to your mind that you're thirsty, you understand that you're thirsty. You have to lead that to an action in order to stop that thirst. So you have to stand up, go get some water, drink. Without that action, fulfilling that desire will pretty much be difficult. And the law of action is that motion that you're taking in order to be able to fulfill that desire. Another thing about the law of action is also the way you manifest energy. Let's say if you're happy, you feel happy, that happiness will manifest itself either by your voice, by the way you act, by what you do in order to manifest that energy. Let's say if you're angry, you can yell, you can scream, you can slam a door. That's the energy that you're putting out. And in order to put that energy out is through that action. So that action will be a reflection of that energy you carry. Action is like a vehicle of the type of energy you have. What's that mean? That means we have to be aware of the type of energy we broadcasting, the type of energy we presenting, and we have to be able to control, to manage that energy. I'm giving you guys a little bit, I'm gonna give you guys an example here. Let's say you angry. You're so angry that you feel that strength in your body. Now, how you going to react? Some people, when they're angry, they can be screaming, yelling, breaking things around. You can slam the door. You can So you can manifest that in a negative way. Another person, if they're angry, they can go to the gym. They can go, if they have a sport, a gym downstairs, they're going to start to lift weight. So as they lift weight, they will start feeling better. That's the way they're diffusing that energy out. So it's not just about energy, because you cannot just suppress energy, but you have to be able to transmute it into something either negative or positive. So it's necessary to know how to diffuse, to know how to manage and control your energy. And this is one of the something very powerful, because when you start to break this down, you understand why certain things are being told to certain people, because that will suppress the reaction. Let's say if a group of people is not happy about certain things, instead of them taking action in order to fix the problem, they're being told to become patient. They're being told to not necessarily not to take action, but what they being told is for them to sit down, to expect someone else to resolve this problem, to expect, let's say, a government, to expect a savior, to expect someone else. So what that does, that energy in being placed, being diffused to something else, which is set higher expectation. But this is the wrong expectation that is being set. If you don't have money, if you're poor, if you struggle every day to get something to eat, if you barely have any clean water, and you're being told the government will take care of you, you'll have a savior that will come and do this for you, it doesn't seem to be big, but what it does, it suppresses your energy of action. You will no longer work hard to have this issue resolved. You will work hard and you'll put all that energy to your faith, because now you believe that a solution will come from someone else. That word you're being told diffuse your energy differently, so your energy is not being used the way it's supposed to use. And you'll be surprised why some people, they can abuse them and they wouldn't say anything. They will abuse them, they will do any type of things to them, they will not respect them, they will go to different type of struggle, and they're always gonna pray, they're always gonna forgive, they're always gonna sit there and wait for a savior and wait for someone to come and help them along. They will not take serious action. They will not plan to fix the problem. Why? Because of what they're being told. And the main reason, unless you understand how the law of action works and how energy is being diffused, you will not understand how deep what you're being told play within your body, within your soul, between the way you act on a daily basis. I'm just on the fourth law. I can go over and over. We have a fourth law, which is the law of correspondence. I didn't want to go over 30 minutes. I'm just going to read right quick, and we probably take other videos. So quickly, we have the law of correspondence, the law of cause and effect, the law of compensation, the law of attraction, the law of perpetual transmutation of energy, the law of relativity, the law of polarity, the law of rhythm, and finally the law of gender. Thank you guys. If there is more question, don't hesitate to leave some comment. Don't forget to subscribe. I thank you guys. I didn't expect this video to be 30 minutes, but I appreciate your time. Keep asking questions, keep coming back, and I'll do my best to provide you with more details. Thank you, and see you in the next video.